everybody, I am Khushbu Kalani. I am a final year student from Government Dental College and Hospital, Nagpur. And this is my first video of being a part of Dento Awesome. I volunteered to make a video about this topic, which is phase 1 therapy or non-surgical therapy. Periodontics is really close to my heart, so I take it very seriously, and in this course of third year and final year, I've come across some questions, some Viva questions, which are generally asked for that particular topic, and I've paid keen attention towards that. So this is my attempt to bring it to you what are the common questions and how you should really study. So let's get started. So the chapters encountered under this topic are phase 1 therapy or the periodontal therapy, plaque control for periodontal patient, then scaling and root planing, chemotherapeutic agents, post-modulatory agents, then sonic and ultrasonic instrumentation, supragingival and subgingival irrigation, occlusal evaluation therapy, adjunctive role of orthodontic therapy, and the periodontic endodontic continuum. So under phase 1 periodontal therapy, generally they would ask you about what is phase 1 therapy and what is the rationale behind it. So I would recommend you should go and check it out on Carenza. This video is only to give you an insight to what questions could be asked and what should be your approach and what you need to study under that. This is not a descriptive video. If you want those, you can request it. So let's continue. We were on what is the rationale, and then you should also know about the sequence of procedure and the guidelines of referral. Like, why would you refer or why would you recommend phase 1 therapy to the patient? You should know that. Plaque control for periodontal patient. Under this, we have chairside Viva, and in chairside Viva, they would generally ask you the very basic question about toothbrush design and brushing techniques, about some interdental cleaning aids, about disclosing agents, and what instructions are you going to give your patient, and the demonstrations for the same. So toothbrush specification as given by ADA, the length, width, number of tufts, surface area, you should know that. Then types of interdental cleaning aids, dental floss, interdental brushes, wooden sticks, oral irrigators, and other interdental cleaning aids. You should know about each one of them. Then we have disclosing agents. Under disclosing agents, it's a very important topic, and you should know everything about it. You should know you might direct this question. You might give it to the examiner on your plate they might ask you about plaque, and they might ask you the definition of plaque, and then from there it will begin, and you would be asked about identification. How would you identify a dental plaque? And then from that you would say disclosing agent. By applying disclosing agent, then that's how you will direct the examiner, and you would go on. So what you should know under this topic is about the definition, about its history, its utility, that's the indication, the properties, composition, mechanism of action, dyes which are used, the common dyes, method of application, and conclusion. So this is how you apply, this is how a disclosing agent works. Then about instructions and demonstration, you should know the oral hygiene tips. You should not say what you believe in. You should always know the exact thing which has to be told, because it's an examination. After all, you don't want to be wrong. Then plaque control for periodontal patient. Generally, in Grand Viva they would ask you this. So you should know about chemical plaque control and again the disclosing agent. So classification of chemical plaque controlling agents, as we all know, there are 3 generations: first generation, second generation, and third generation. You should know this because it's also an important SAQ question. So do go through this. Then, as in the previous slide, we talked about what are the dyes used as disclosing agent. These are the following dyes, and generally two-tone dye or basic fustian is what they are looking for in your answer. Then this is the utility of disclosing agent, which is nothing but the indication. Then this is about the two-tone solution. You should know that. The only important point here I would like to point out is that the thicker plaques will stain blue and the thinner plaque will stain red. So that's why the name two-tone, and that's why this is important. Scaling and route planing. Under chairside viva, obviously this is what we do. They are gonna ask you about this. They will begin with classification of periodontal instruments, or they might ask you to name all the instruments on your tray. Then you should know about the general principles of instrumentation. You should know about curates. Then we have instrument grasp, the modified pen grasp which we use, and the detection skills. So let's talk about that. This is the classification of periodontal instrument, which each one of us should know by heart because this is the basic thing, most basic thing. Then the general principles of instrumentation: accessibility, visibility, condition of instruments, maintaining a clean field, instrument stability, and instrument activation. So this is again very basic. After that, Gracie curates. You should know how to identify a Gracie curate. You should know how to hold it. You should also know the curvatures, the design, a 70-degree angle of the cutting edge, and the non-working edge. You should know everything about that. Then what are the kinds of Gracie curates? Sometimes they also ask you from curates, they would also go for hoe. What is a hoe and what is a chisel? They will ask you to differentiate between both of them. I've not included that in a slide, but recently I came across this question, so I'm just pay attention to that. And this is very important, the difference between the Gracie curate and the universal curates. Then about the modified pen grasp, you should not only be able to demonstrate that, but you should also be able to tell and explain how you're holding it. Detection skills. Now what do we mean by detection skills? How will you determine whether the tooth is free of calculus or not? It's just that. It's a very basic question, but a lot of us don't really know how to answer this basic question because we don't pay much attention, but this is important. Then in the Grand Viva, they might ask you about instrument sharpening. This is also a SAQ question. You should know how not to and how to, and what are the materials used for that. So the next topic is chemotherapeutic agents. In this chairside viva, they'll ask you in chairside viva only if you've mentioned it in your treatment plan. And these are the prescribed dosages which you should mention. Now, under Grand Viva, it goes more detailed if you are asked about tetracycline, metronidazole, host modulation, and NSAIDs. In tetracycline, the important things which you should know is that what it does, what exactly it does, how does it control the periodontal disease, its concentration in blood serum versus GCF, then against what is it, which microorganism is it working, and the important point, which is just which we probably miss out, is it increases the bone regeneration process. You'll be asked about the indications of tetracycline. Same with metronidazole, you will be asked about its indication. Then about host modulation therapy, most of us skip this topic because we don't really understand it. But if you go and read it in Carenza, it's given very well. So what is host modulation therapy in Carenza edition 10? The definition is given. Then what is the rationale behind it? Why are we suggesting this therapy? Then targets of host modulation therapy. What are the targets of this therapy? How is it modulating the host? These are the following things: arachidonic acid metabolites, matrix metalloproteins, cytokines. So these are the targets, which will come in the next slide as well. Then about NSAIDs. We all know what it does. It's an anti-inflammatory drug. So it will be used to treat pain for acute and chronic inflammation, and it also inhibits the prostaglandin synthesis. So how will it reduce or limit the progression of our disease periodontitis? By reducing the inflammation. If it reduces the inflammation, the bone resorption will also be limited. Then these are some of the derivatives of propionic acid derivatives. This is the NSAID, particular NSAID, ibuprofen, naproxen, ketoprofen, which we use for host modulation. Now, the next slide, as I said, was about the host modulation agent. In the Grand Viva the definition and rationale. And the host modulatory agents are of two types. They are systemic and local. The first one is NSAID. Then bisphosphonates. You should know just what is given in this particular slide is enough. Then about the sub-antimicrobial dose doxycycline, SDD. This is very important. It's nothing but a low dose doxycycline, and it is, again, it's a member of tetracycline family. So whatever tetracycline does, this will do the same. Just the dosage will be less. I think it's 20 milligram. Then what are the indications for this? And about the ketorolac trimethamine rinse, why you should prescribe this to your patient. Actually, ketoprofen blocks both the carbooxygenase and lipooxygenase pathways. These are the local agents, which are enamel matrix protein, commonly known as emdogain, bone morphogenetic protein, then BMP2 and BMP7, then growth factors, which are platelet derived and insulin-like, and tetracyclines. Then sonic and ultrasonic instrumentation. What is the difference between sonic and ultrasonic? These are some optional questions about the mechanism of action, tip design, and special consideration. What is the special consideration? When to not use it. That's in the patient with cardiac pacemakers and when an excessive aerosol productions is anticipated. Supragingival and subgingival irrigation, the next topic. Again, the questions which will be asked are optional, and it depends on your treatment plan. You should know about the home irrigation and its safety, and you should definitely know about the chlorhexidine, the mechanism of action and the uses. Also the dosage. And adverse effects, staining, then it can cause alteration in taste perception, etc. These are the two basic ones basically. Then occlusal evaluation in therapy, under this in Carenza, box 56.2 and box 56.3. These are the two boxes which will be enough at this stage. And coronoplasty. This is usually asked and it's an SAQ question again. So what is coronoplasty? It's the mechanical elimination of occlusal supracontacts that may present during the functional movements. So selective reduction of these areas to establish functional relationship will be favorable to the periodontium and will limit the trauma from occlusion. So these are the steps, sequence for coronoplasty which you should know, and the indication. As I said, trauma from occlusion. Then adjunctive role of orthodontic therapy. If your case is orthodontic, you should know about the benefits of orthodontic treatment for better access to maintain the oral hygiene. In the Grand Viva, you may be asked about the pre-orthodontic osseous surgery. You could be asked to mention some, and the orthodontic treatment of osseous defects. These are the pre-orthodontic osseous surgery. Then the periodontic endodontic continuum, which is the last topic of this phase 1 therapy. If your case is such, then it will be asked. So you should know about the effects of pulpal disease on periodontium and also about the effect of periodontitis on the pulp, both ways. And obviously they'll begin with the difference between pulpal and periodontal abscess. It's a very common question. So this is the effect of pulpal disease on periodontium and the effects of periodontal disease on the pulp, how they both affect each other, and about the differences. Thank you everybody who will watch this video. I hope it was helpful for you, and if you have any questions you can ask and you can request for another video if you need more. Thank you.